Anyway, please keep this energy going. For the next act, give it, start clapping, not you. Start clapping, you're over in the animation table, that's what I'm calling you guys. Start on there, give it right to the back of the room. Give a massive, massive welcome to Jonathan Harris!
Yes, yes! I thought I'd try busting out the hoodie look like my brother from another mother, OMG there. Nothing says street and gangster like Bowden and the name Jonathan. Well, did you, who didn't stay up last night and watch people eating hats and stuff like that? Let me explain what happened if you missed it. So, a load of people, they sit down, full of hope, full of expectation, watching some bloke chattering away, and it quickly becomes clear that really nothing good's going to happen. Ultimately, they all end up really disappointed. An experience I'm going to recreate for you now. First of all, thank you very, very much for keeping me in another 5 years' work as Mid Wales's 43rd worst David Cameron lookalike. I was really, really worried, and I was looking around for something else to do, and one morning I woke up with this overwhelming urge to drive ridiculous distances at my own expense to make a knob of myself in front of strangers for 5 minutes at a time. So, welcome to my midlife crisis. I haven't been doing this long, and what I have learned so far is that stand-up comedy is a little bit like anal sex. Not yet. It's hard to get into. It's excruciating for people on the other end of it. And I've only been going a couple of minutes and I already seem to be fucking shit. So, now, earlier on, Di found a very positive review of Llandridod in The Guardian. I, however, found a very different article. Have you seen this genuine article in The Guardian? Let's move to Llandridod, Wales in Wales. I'll read directly from the article. It starts, "The masochist in me loves a favourite spa towel." And that first paragraph ends with, "Life's flotsam accumulates in this time warp as if it was making for the Welsh coast and gave up halfway." Is this true? Because I don't live far from here, and we hear a lot of things about Llandridod, and I think that a lot of what I hear about you guys is completely untrue. That's what I thought. Well, that's what I thought this evening as I drove in along Dole Road. That a lot of the new accommodation buildings have the word court in the name. As if it's some sort of cruel town planner's joke, you know. Oh, let's call it court, that's the last place they were. So how did it end up like this? How on earth have I ended up here? Well, clearly there's something wrong with me, so let me tell you about my childhood. I was born in Reading, undoubtedly the shittest of the 3 R's, and my dad, he was a scrap metal dealer. Oh, sorry, I'd just like to clarify something. My dad was not Keith Harris, rest his soul, but I do think it'd be a massive shame if Orville wasn't repurposed or recycled into something else like, I don't know, a 70s soul singer. I was thinking perhaps they could cremate it until it's Bill Withers. Bing bong, ladies and gentlemen, in keeping with tonight's 70s theme, the comedian in front of you will be recycling jokes straight from that era. So anyway, where was I? My dad, he was a scrap metal dealer, and he had a few run-ins with the law, and so what us kids did, right, we put a metal detector in Dad's van. That way, he could always tell when the copper was nearby. So every day growing up on the scrap metal yard for us kids, it was a laugh, you know, it was like non-Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And, okay, I'm starting to see why there aren't more obscure metallurgy jokes online. Teenage years, was surprisingly lonely, as you can imagine. But I do recall sitting down by one of the locks on the Kennet and Avon Canal in Reading, catching crabs. You're ahead of me, aren't you? That's right. I was desperate, they were a bit minging, and despite the fact that 20 quid was a lot of money in those days, he still seemed happy to pay. Fast forward 25 years, and life is going well! How can it not be? Living in one of the best goddamn countries on the planet, am I right? And then we moved to Wales. The best goddamn country on the planet! But it hasn't all been plain sailing since we arrived here. Very shortly after we moved here, I lost my job when the Focus DIY chain closed down. I was working in the Dulux paint blending department, and I'm all right about it now. Sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I was over it. Mixed emotions. But it was a loss. It was a real shame because I was something of a DIY god. And I call myself a god insofar as very few people have faith in me anymore, and those that have seen my work vary greatly. So ultimately we ended up moving to a place called Llandridod. Anybody know it? Yeah. And I've lived there for 7 years now with my wife. And when you live with someone for that long, you get to pick up on the little subtle nuances of the relationship. So for example, and now I know that when she says, "Oh my God, can you be any more annoying?" Turns out it's a rhetorical question. Not the challenge to which I've been so ably rising these last 7 years. And incidentally, in case you were wondering, it turns out yes I can. Llandy's are kind of this bit quite alternative, lots of independent stores. We've got a place called the Great Oak Bookstore. If you visit, they're currently running a special competition where you can nominate any family member to recount as much as they can of the Oedipus trilogy. So I entered my mum. Also, they've got it's a conservative homeopathic place. There you go. Anybody into homeopathy here? Yes. You see, some people say it's a load of old bollocks, don't they? But not me. No, not you. Luckily, I'm a registered homeopathic chameleon. The important thing is it still retains the memory. It once been a joke. Obviously, the weaker, the better. I'm going to leave you in a minute, but not until I tell you my favourite thing about living in Llandridod is the agricultural shows nearby. Now, there seems to be this kind of this thing about the young farmers wearing comedy t-shirts, and at great personal risk, I've taken a picture of a few of these for you. Here's one. You're lucky I'm a dentist. You need a good filling. I've had it up to here with midgets. That's clever, isn't it? But here's my favourite one. Have I come across your face before? Or was it your tits? Now, here's the thing. It's not the t-shirt or the printing that I like best about this picture. It's the fact that the man wearing it is running the kiddies' balloon school. And don't you be a pleasure, thank you very much.
Jonathan Harris, everyone. These guys are trying out some new stuff, and you guys are so lovely, and you support them, and they've been really, really good, right? You've all had a good time? Yeah. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have one more break, and then we've got another act for you, but until then...